my goodness. Oh my. Let's get the party started. Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
You
Kevin.
are you ready, Michael?
I am ready.
All right, let's go. Yeah. Hey there. How you doing? You good? I like our theme music. I'll dance to our theme music all day. Get your dance on. Oh my gosh. Well, let's take care of some proper things right now. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday. And this episode is brought to you by NBN. Let's go to the beginning. Yes, NBN, the African American Historical News Journal. Give the gift of knowledge during this historic Black History Month. I got my 5, and I invite you to get yours. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I'm looking for the African American. There it is. Sponsored by nbnconnect.com. Go ahead and get your journal. Get some
Ah,
knowledge. Get some knowledge. Oh my goodness. So
get your 5 on it.
get your 5
Mm.
on it. All right, it's
Right.
over. It's over. I must say
It's over.
The Super Bowl, everything is over. I think the
What you
halftime,
mean?
the game, all of that stuff was over.
What you mean? It's got Super Bowl's gonna be in Glendale, Arizona. It's coming up in the next 11 and a half months. And I know
Uh,
all the teams are getting ready for it, with the
all
exception of
right.
maybe two LA Rams might not be getting ready for the next season. There might be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer who may
Okay.
not come back next year, but even that's uncertain right now because he
Okay.
has
All
not
right.
filed his official paper, so it's still in flux right now. Oh
It's still
no,
it's
oh
still in
no, no,
flux.
no,
Oh
Val,
no.
you are under this false assumption that there is some conclusion. This is sports, my dear. Sports never ends. Athletics keeps going. They maybe take a
Yeah.
day off. I saw them going to Disneyland, but I guarantee you a bunch of those LA Ram players will be back working out by this time next week. They'll be getting
Okay.
training for to try to defend that title.
All right. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead
And
and
you
say
know what?
hello.
If they ain't on there, I bet their coaches are calling them, making sure hey. So did you have fun? All right, all right. So I'll
Yeah,
see you
I
next
had
week.
fun.
I'll
Let
see you
me
next
let me
week.
jump. Okay. Let
See you
me
next
jump in
week.
here real. Want to say hello to the chat. I'm saying hello to
Hey,
Carice.
chat,
How are you? How you
chit
doing,
chat,
girl? I see Amy. How you doing?
honey.
And Ferdy, just I think you had a birthday earlier.
Hey,
So what's up? What's up?
happy
Thank you so
birthday.
much. Happy birthday and happy Valentine's Day afterwards,
That's
Michael.
right.
I thought I'd
Happy
say that.
belated
It's
yesterday. Happy
belated. It
yesterday.
was
Happy
yeah, happy
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, happy
Happy
yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah, that's what. Hopefully
That's
you all had
right.
a very nice situation. Yes.
It ain't a one day a week thing, right? It's not a one
Exactly.
day thing.
So
Valentine's Day.
so
Feel it in your heart.
what we do is we like to chit chat with other people, especially when it comes to sports. I am
What?
educated specifically about Super Bowl, but we're gonna bring on Coach
Whoa!
Tony. He's here. Yo.
Whoa!
Hey,
Oh,
I got my new theme song. You got to listen. I got to
you
get
got your
it.
new what?
Hustling every day. I'm hustling.
Oh!
Okay.
That's how I got to turn on
So
the theme
every
song.
day.
Then break it.
All day, every day.
Yeah,
Okay,
All
yeah.
okay,
day,
he's
every day.
hustling every day, every day.
Every
Tony is
day,
hustling. So
man.
here, you know what? I looked at the tape last week and I predicted that the LA Rams was going to win.
I
made
told
that
you.
prediction. I made it, but
Good.
Here's my
Good job.
thing. Yes, here's my thing. Cincinnati had it. They could have made it. What happened? Michael, coach, what happened?
Look, go to coach on that one. I'm not still pleased about that outcome.
Well, you know,
there were no penalties in that game until the very end when it counted.
right. And for promotional purposes only, as Michael said, I think I covered my spread. I think I got Stafford and the boys over 280. Chase Higgins
purposes
over
only.
85.
Yes.
So if you took my promotional purposes only, you should have had a good weekend. Your Valentine's Day should have been great.
You can afford those dozen roses. Okay.
You should have had a couple extra Cohen's right there. Yeah, no, that extra
You can afford that chocolate.
Chocolate. But hey,
that's right. Mike, chocolate.
Right. Hey, you know, I had to, don't forget where the Bulls fitted today, baby. Got to keep the shot town going.
They back on their streak.
Oh, they back on their
streak. Yeah, they'll be fine. They got this game against the Kings, and then they were taking the All-Star break.
Take the All-Star break.
Some of the team will take the All-Star break. We do have All-Stars on our team, so they'll be representing. So that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Springer. What's up, Mr. Springer? I appreciate it. And Mike, I think you hit it on the head. The problem was the last play, actually the last 4 plays of the game, when they went to Mixon all night. He was killing. He was picking up 12 yards here, 15 yards here. And then you bring the fullback in, and you don't give Mixon the ball. You go on the 3rd and 2, and you pass the ball, and it gets knocked down. Then you come back on a 4th down, and then my boy, the sports drink, team ready, Aaron Donald, boom. Hey, man, too much pressure, man. Defense wins championships, right?
You know, it does. It really does. You know what? Also, what'll lose your championship? Outthinking.
Outthinking? Really?
Oh, definitely. That's it. To this day, Beast Mode to tell you how he should have got that ball going into it, and then Russell wanted to start cooking and trying to throw a pass right into the arms of the New England Patriots. Remember that Super Bowl? So I think the Bengals got a little bit too. They were a little bit too self-assured. They were cocky, certainly. I think they had a reason to feel like they should have won that game. But just going into it, you still got to have that feeling like, we're putting it all on the line. We don't know what's going to happen, because that's is what happened.
And then somebody got injured. Didn't someone get injured?
Yeah, my boy Beckham got hurt. And
Beckham got injured.
Yeah, Beckham got, and that could have ran the score up even more if Beckham would have played. But who knows? But once again, when you make it to the pros at that level, Val, and all the professionals tell you, they are usually one injury away from retiring, right? So you just gotta hope. That's the part that Mike mentioned, last week when you got the gracefulness and you got all the athleticism, but luck plays a big role too. You gotta be lucky. If you got Tom Brady's had the lady luck on his side for 20 years, man. Yeah, and they're talking about. Did you hear the news? They said that it's a possibility that he'll retire and then wait a year, come back at 50, and be the first quarterback to ever do that. Michael Jordan didn't even do that.
I know. And Kevin in the chat just said he watched the game and he said, let's say I sported my Rams baseball cap on my way to Starbucks. Isn't he corny?
This Rams stuff. I mean, people are just all of a sudden digging out there. I mean, was it the halftime show that inspired them? They went back to their all retro Nelly look.
No, they went back to the Rams. They went back and took those Eric Dickinson wear out, right?
Oh no, Coach. I think they went back and got the St. Louis. They got that St. Louis Rams turf look. Brought that back out. I've never seen so much Rams gear in my life.
My God! But here's the question. Somebody asked me a good question today, and I didn't think about it. They said, "Let's kick this halftime show off." And now, in the past, right? You've had Prince, you've had Janet Jackson, you had Beyonce, and then, of course, the West Coast Cats that dropped out last night. Of those 4 acts, who do you think had the best Super Bowl halftime performance? Now, me, I know we discussed this about maybe a few weeks to a month ago. I'm going to always be a Prince lover. I love Prince. And because he was one artist, and he completely ripped the stage up. at the Super Bowl with the rain coming down, the purple rain. That was dope. That's dope. But you got to give it to these boys last night. I mean, the other night. People didn't realize that, but did you know that the street that they were sitting on where they had the halftime, that was a map of Los Angeles in the Compton, and a lot of people didn't know that.
Absolutely.
I knew that. I
yeah.
took a notice to that. I took a notice to that immediately, especially when Kendrick Lamar did his, because
Yes.
when the camera was above them, you saw kind of the radius of Compton.
Correct.
And I was like, and it was a nice nod and a wink to NWA, because he mentioned it toward the end. He's like 35 years been doing it, and I was like, oh, okay, let's give him a nice little nod. And so they were marching like soldiers, so I was checking that out. And so that strip, what was that strip? Because it was something, it represented some block in LA. What block did it represent?
I want to say that may have been Torrance Avenue. It had been Torrance Avenue, down in Compton area. And of course, you got to give it to my girl Mary J. Blige with the outfit of the night. Woo!
Yeah, I thought I thought she was kind of going like this. Look, this is how we do it in at any age. And I like that they allowed her to do 2 songs. One person had told me that, you know what, I think this was too short. And it looked like, after I looked at like maybe about 5 or 6 former performances, including one of the great ones, Prince, it averages anywhere from 10 to 14 minutes. It doesn't go too much 14 longer.
Minutes. 14 minutes all they had.
Right. Don't go too much longer after that. Tony, did you catch didn't you hear MC Light introducing them and then closed it? I was like, oh, she getting the voiceover jobs. Go, girl. Hey.
Yeah, MC Light been doing her thing since, I want to say, what Mike, you may correct me on this. She's been doing her stuff since like the Grammys and the BET Awards and Source Awards. No. So I love Light, and and the funny part about it, I was talking to my guy who's on the music side of the house. They only got one verse. I'm glad he dropped Still Dre, but I wish Snoop would have dropped that Gin and Juice.
Boom. Yeah, and I think they might have. The thing of it is that there was so many. I feel like they only got like maybe 1 to 2 minutes a piece, and then Becca from Jersey said Prince all the way. Oris says that Mary J needed different song selection, so you didn't like No More Drama. And what was the other one? Let's Get It Crunk.
Let's get it crunk. Yeah, she got that.
Well, I mean, she is going to do the Dre songs.
Yes,
with Dre.
That's what I thought.
On Dre's stage. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So kind of backing things up just a little bit to the business side of this. Okay.
Right. So and Kevin's even saying that he wished that Mary had performed Real Love, but go ahead, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing to understand about this is that that production was a production of Dr. Dre. So the NFL gives them the stage, but the NFL is not paying these artists. They're not doing any of that. That's Dre's stage. So Dre brings in his artists and they perform during that time. So once they come in, then they set the set list. What was hilarious, I don't know if you all heard about this, but during the rehearsal time, the week leading up to the Super Bowl, because they wanted to keep things secret, like, the 50 Cent appearance was supposed to be a surprise. So when they did that, they were pumping out Bon Jovi music out into like Los Angeles from SoFi. So if you went by the stadium while they were rehearsing, you didn't hear Dre there, you didn't hear Still Dre, you heard like Living on a Prayer or Wanted Dead or Alive or something. So they tried to know that under wraps.
I didn't even know that.
So they pay for it. So Dre pays for that time. The artists, all of it, the dancers, the music, the explosions, that's all on the artist. The NFL doesn't fit the bill for that. They just give them that stage.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, they don't get paid.
I didn't even know. And the thing is on that, if you're looking at that, I think once again, Mike, like you said, being a Dre theme, I think that the No More Drama, that was a Dr. Dre track. So I think what it was, they were singing the tracks to Dre, and I love how they let him open it, then they let him close it. But the dopest thing to me is when they lifted him to the roof, man. on top of everything and shot the fireworks off. Man, that was lit.
Okay,
That
so
was-
the best part to me was when we got, because it was a mix. I mean, because it's such a production, you can't have it all live. So some of them, they're singing to tracks, they're rapping over tracks. I understand that. I get that. But you could tell it was live when Drake hit the piano and played.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
You know what that?
And I
You know
noticed-
what that was, right?
Explain, what was that?
That was a nod to Tupac.
Yeah.
He played
So-
I Ain't Mad at You.
Right.
I'm not mad at
Because that's the one person that wasn't there.
I ain't mad at
That was a long rivalry, or that was a weirdness.
No. That was all Death Row.
Yeah, that was all Death Row. Yeah,
Drake
that was when
Tupac.
that was the most
Love.
Yeah, the most expensive video ever made was that California Love.
California Love.
Yeah, because they were doing the Mad Max theme in that video.
Right.
You guys remember that? And some hey, what's up, Mark? No, or Snoop did not, and they did not do. It would have been good if they had done nothing but a G thing. What did they play some bars of that or no? I don't remember. I'm not remembering if they did that.
I don't think they did. I think he kept it a Dre day. It was all about Dre. So I think he did.
Exactly.
But my boys was tripping because they said 50 Cent looked like $1 out there, didn't he?
I will say this.
$1.
I think I understand why 50 Cent was there. He has recently employed Mary J. Blige in Power. So I saw the two of them kind of
Val.
job. Was it that? Why? I forgot. 50 Cent was on the
Eminem.
label.
That's part of the label.
Eminem.
Yeah, Eminem when it got that. That's why he got Eminem 50.
Dre to Eminem.
To 50.
Eminem to 50.
50.
They were all on Aftermath Records. So the time that 50 Cent was at his peak musically, Dr. Dre was making more money.
Right. And what they should have did though, Mike, if I could have been in Dre's ear, I'd have dropped that boom, 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 boom when they came out. Can you feel it? I'd have had to drop that deep cover. Yeah, they could have dropped that deep cover. Let Snoop spit some of that, hit the G thing, then come to Dre day.
No, guys. No,
Well,
you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. Look, y'all. We managed to get through a Super Bowl halftime with a bunch of hip hop, so-called gangster rap, without most people losing their minds. Okay, only Kendrick went up there and had to take out part of his song. All right, when he mentioned the police.
Yes.
Other than that, Dre stood up there and said, "Still ain't got no love for police." I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
And I knew he wasn't going to change
there was no
that.
way they could get the deep cover. Okay, that's too far.
Yeah, they couldn't have done that tonight. I'll take a
too far.
deep cover on some incognito. I can't even say the words. Come on.
Val, you gonna make me change my theme song up, Val. You gonna make me change my theme song up.
Deep Cover. Bertie just said that Deep Cover is a classic, but definitely, I know 187. I know.
You know what you did, boy.
Is this your frat? Tony, is this your frat, Charles?
You know what you did, right?
Yes. What I do? What's up, Mike? What I do, Mike?
Oh, you're talking about the movie?
Oh yeah, Deep Cover.
Bill Duke, the scene where it goes
Bill
around.
Duke is interrogating him. Oh my goodness.
Now you said you had you got a drink from the beer and you put your hand on the beer, and what time was wait a minute now, you messed up now. Right. Can't say the word, but I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So here's a quick question I wanted to ask you before you go, Coach Tony. What did you think of the commercials?
Any
standouts or no?
Two commercials that stood out to me that they talked about. The one was the LeBron on LeBron. I love that one. When the young image coming out of St. Vincent, and he sit on the bed, he asked him, he giving him the knowledge of what's gonna happen in his career. He's like, man, I thought that was just too cool. And then the little cartoon character football that jumped out the TV, told the crib up, told him up, and mom and dad came in like, what happened? And grandma was like, football.
That's right.
She kept right on walking.
and that's done.
Hey, you
No
know,
more drama after that. There was no more
that's what
drama
they should have
after
dropped on that. No more drama. But I tell you what, Val, I each week I send a shout out. I want to send a shout out to my brand new president at Volunteer State Community, Miss Montague and her husband Mike support us big time. And my girls, I'm tired this week. We got 4 basketball games in 7 days. Had one Saturday last night. Got a game tomorrow night, Saturday night. So I'm rolling. But I never get too tired to hang out with my 2 favorite people, though. That's for sure. Family.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you. And then, of
Thank
course, we gotta bring you back for the basketball season. It's
That's
fired up in the
playoffs.
NCAA.
That's hot
Playoffs.
right there. That's hot.
I'm going to the playoffs. Yeah.
Hey, Mike. I'm gonna give you one because I'm a diehard Big Ten guy, but I'm gonna give you a team to watch out for. That you put your how do we say it again?
Entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment
purposes only. Write this down, y'all. Y'all got pen and paper. Write it down. Coach is giving it something to you now. He's about to give you something.
Put Purdue in the Final Four. Telling you right now. Purdue.
Who we putting in there?
Put Purdue in the Final Four.
Boilermakers.
We're gonna put obviously with them boys. We're gonna put them Kansas Jayhawks in there, and we're gonna put Gonzaga. Gonzaga is definitely getting back in there, and I know they're gonna struggle, but this Coach K last year and Duke gonna play what they gonna play, and them Blue Devils will be there. That's my final thought.
All right, there you go. So
heard it from Coach.
Purdue,
Thank you so
Gonzaga.
Much, you did,
Purdue, Gonzaga,
Michael's writing this down. Pink
Purdue,
Griffin, thank you so very much. Araja, thank you so much for joining us.
My outro song. Okay, right back there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You guys be good. Love you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us, Coach Tony. Woo!
Hey, I'm back.
Wait a minute. Wait. What were we gonna say? I'm sorry.
I'm still in the show. I'm watching you guys now. Do your thing.
Okay. All right. There we go. Oh my goodness.
Well, look, Kevin. I understand coming out of Carolina. I mean, only Duke is an acquired taste. I do understand that.
Duke is an acquired taste. Wait a minute, I gotta bring Tony back. Tony's laughing. Kevin said that. He hope he wrong. I don't want Duke winning.
No, it's like that beautiful red, black, and green flag that Mike got flying in the back. It's an acquired taste. It's like having a good Cohiba cigar. It's an acquired taste, like a good cognac, a good Woodford Reserve. It's an acquired taste, and I know the Carolina folks want the Tar Heels. Not this year. I'm sorry. Not this year. Not why they giving Coach K his rocking chair.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much, man. He's out of there.
All right. Yeah. No worries.
He is just. Oh my goodness. And Kevin just said he don't want.
UNC either. All right. Okay. All right.
All right. Oh well.
No. I mean, I understand. I get it. There's certain schools, just like certain teams, they win. They win. Now you can dislike them because they win. But you gotta acknowledge what they do. You gotta give them their props for what they do. They put in the work to win. They don't just step on the stage and win. Even I see, Kevin speaking about Alabama football team. I mean, them boys don't just strap up and win. They put in the work. They train. They go hard at it. I bet they're in practice right now. They might be coming out of practice right now. That's how teams do.
That's what they do. And they're supposed to do that. They are supposed to do that. How many people are watching? Are they getting paid? Right? And the college kids are getting paid now, right? I hope. Yes, they are. Yes, we are.
They can be. That for another show, we'll bring back Coach Tony. We'll talk about that. They can be paid.
They
not
should
all
be
of
paid.
them are. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Depends on where you are and what you do, mostly. But we can get back to that. We'll talk
But I
about
want
that
to, I
another
want to,
time.
yeah, but I wanted to, we had mentioned the last on the halftime shows. Here are my top 3 favorite halftime shows of all
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Cool.
Number 3, I know the people that love Beyonce. I'm going to say Beyonce is number 3 for me. Prince is number 2. He's not number 1. I want him to be number 1, but he ain't. Michael's number 1. And that
Thank
was in
you. I
93.
did. I tried to put it down. I had my
What was your
dances. Left Shark went the
Mhm.
wrong way. I know, but I tried.
And what are your 3 top performances that you like?
Well, the first name
Thank you,
you
Ferdy.
mentioned will be omitted for sure. So I'm gonna go by obvious. Obvious is Prince. Prince. I
Okay.
mean, okay, it literally rained during Purple Rain. Okay, the King of Kings made the waterfall, and his royal badness shredded that turquoise guitar. Okay, that's number
Okay.
one. All
That's
right,
number
without
1. Okay.
question. Without question.
Without
Not
question.
not 2 and 3. I know there's gonna be a lot of debate. People may disagree with me. I feel that. Get at me. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. I'm gonna say my number 2. My number 2 was last year. It was the weekend. The weekend
Yeah.
show.
Okay.
That show was
Okay.
amazing.
All right.
And I think the things that he did for the situation he was in, that was truly putting on a show. There was pretty much nobody there in the stadium. He's in a pretty much empty COVID stadium. He has more than 100 dancers going. He's doing like his whole thing. He's got mirrors and fireworks and lights and all this stuff. And to an audience of what the TV camera.
Well,
That was amazing.
possibly the players and
Tom
maybe some
Brady's
of the
family,
workers. Probably, but maybe, I don't know.
Giselle.
And if
I mean, who was
if
there to
you
watch that game?
if you're a huge fan of The Weeknd, last year would have been one of your top. And I
It
feel
was
like
amazing.
it was amazing. And I definitely would like to put it in the top 10. I would put The Weeknd in the
That's
top
good.
10.
I got it at
Who's
number
your number
2.
1? Who's your number
I
1?
told you my number 1. I started out with Prince. Prince is
You
number
started off
1.
with Prince, The
Uh,
Weeknd. Okay,
I'm
number
gonna tell you
3.
my number 3. Yes, I'll
Mhm.
tell you my number 3. My number 3 is one that is overlooked, but at the time that they came out and did it, it was, and I think it still remains one of the best shows because of the moment. The band met the moment.
Okay.
2002, the Super Bowl. Super
Okay.
Bowl right after 9/11. And who comes out at this moment when America needed music and
Mhm.
healing and a show? Wasn't an American group. Was not an American group. It was an Irish group. It was
Right.
U2. U2
You
came out
too.
there, played their songs. Bono came out in a leather jacket, looking more American. He looking like, I don't know, James Dean or something.
Like
Takes
the
out the leather
Fonz. He was
jacket,
looking like the
opens it
Fonz to
up,
me.
opens up the leather jacket, and inside, what does he show?
The
He showed the
American
American flag at that
flag.
time, and he's
Mhm.
not even American, and he showed that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
amazing. That was an amazing moment. The whole world had empathy, sympathy for what the U.S. had gone through. Uh,
Mhm.
the whole world was watching, and YouTube did this gesture. It was I remember it. I remember it. That was
It
one of
made an
those moments.
indelible mark.
It
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, when I say it to you now, can you remember that image, don't you? Of him
Mhm.
opening up his
Mhm.
jacket and
Yeah.
you see the stars, you see the stripes. I'm
He's
not
all
one
proud
that's big on I gotta say, probably me and both Michelle Obama, we probably both felt proud to be American at that moment,
at
okay?
that moment.
At
Exactly.
that
At
moment,
that moment.
absolutely. Absolutely. There are times when we go back and forth, but that was one of those moments. And they did it at the Super Bowl. They did it at the
Woo.
Super Bowl. It was
The,
amazing. It was
the most
amazing.
American sporting event of the year. One of the
And at a
most.
moment where America needed that.
We
They
needed that.
needed that
Yeah.
moment. And
Mhm.
here come these four Irish blokes, and they did it. They
Well,
did it. And it was great.
I had a crush on Bono from long ago. but you know, it just it
I
it
love
I
them.
just
I
love
love
I
them. I
love
mean, as
love his
far as
musicry
groups, you
for what it
know,
is.
the the
Mm-hmm.
the message in their music. I mean, they were one of the first rock groups I knew that was singing about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and talking about the need for like civil and human rights. So I give them a lot of love and respect. They
Yeah.
did they
So
did what a lot of people couldn't do, and they did it on a big
mhm,
stage. The
right.
thing that we didn't mention about the Super Bowl halftime show was what Eminem did. And I think that a lot of
I
people there's a
know.
lot of misunderstanding about it, and I think some of that's fine. And I would prefer if he doesn't come out and like say exactly why he did what he did. I think the discussion is probably even more valuable than what he might have to say. Now, some people think that he did it for Colin Kaepernick, and he's there at the NFL. He takes a knee during a point when Dr. Dre is playing the
But Dr.
music.
Dre is playing the song, but Dr. Dre is playing the song "I'm Not Mad at You" around that same
Exactly. He's
time.
playing the song I'm Not Mad at You, which is directly a tribute
The
and a
tribute.
nod to Tupac Shakur.
Tupac. Yes,
So,
exactly.
so is he taking a knee for Colin Kaepernick and the NFL and all the mistreatment that they've gone through, or what Colin's cause was, or is he taking a knee to remember his friend Tupac Shakur,
Mhm.
who
Right.
in a better world would have been on that stage with them that night?
Right.
So
Exactly.
I
Now,
think I think it's good
Court,
not to know. I think it's better not to know the answer to that
and
question than
he
actually
won't
know.
come out and say anything as we
I hope
wrap this
not.
up.
I
Yeah,
hope not.
Kevin says that he was too young for Michael Jackson, but he'll agree with Prince. No, he said he was too young for that.
Ooh, okay,
And he'll go
okay,
with
baby.
Beyonce. And he also says this year, he knew one of the dancers, and he knew two of them. So he says he's biased.
Okay,
There was I'm
all
telling
right.
you, the choreography for when they did Still and they had the Crip Walkers out there. I love that. And they all had like the tan on and Still, and they were doing their thing. So I was loving the whole vibe. But I have to say, I am well pleased with this year's halftime show. And I'm excited that it happened. I think
That's the
Kevin
best
put it
thing
in the
Jay Z's
chat.
ever done for me. Jay
Kevin has
Z
put it.
is. I give him props for this. I mean, he is
Oh,
officially the
Live
curator.
Nation. Live
Yeah,
Nation.
yeah,
Mhm.
The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock
Okay.
is the reason why we've had the weekend and had Dre and friends come out these last 2 years. So I'm so happy we have moved away from the Who and all those like dinosaur rock groups. I don't want that back. I want this more of this, please.
Exactly. And speaking of, we're in February. February is Black History Month. Put up your fist, put up your fist. I would like to go ahead and acknowledge on this date back in 1968. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do a little history lesson. Henry Lewis becomes the first African American, as I try to pause this real quick, here we go, a first African American to lead a symphony orchestra in the United States. And he broke racial barriers in the music world as the first Black conductor and music director of a major American orchestra, the New Jersey Symphony. And he,
Jersey.
and he was the first to conduct at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, and this was in 1968. So a wink and a nod to Henry Lewis, and that is him. We thought we'd just go ahead and bring that up as a for more of Black
68.
history. 1968. It took
Good
that long.
grief.
Yes, yeah,
Good grief.
that's what's in shouting distance of our births.
68. I mean, my goodness.
I know. So, but anyway, um, we are going
That's
to.
John Carlos time, man. In Mexico City. 68. That's insane.
I know, I know. Okay, we talked about the commercials,
We keep
so
we keep having firsts. We still
that's gonna
having
keep
firsts,
happening.
aren't
It's
we?
still gonna keep happening. It is what it is.
And the biggest one of the biggest ones is coming up within this year, right? As long as we can keep the men focused, God bless the people in the Ukraine. I'm not certainly don't want anything negative to happen in that country, but I would like
No,
our
I don't.
president to be focused in on America right now. He's got a job to nominate a replacement for Justice Breyer. He says
Mhm.
he told us the pool he's going to be reaching into in terms of picking a nominee. I'd like to know who that person is. I'd like to know who that sister's going to be.
Yeah, he's distracted.
That's going to be another
He's
first,
having
right?
yeah, that would be that would be a wonderful first
2022 will have the first African American woman on the
woman.
Supreme Court. Another first. We
Yeah,
keep
and
making
Amy
first.
Amy's got her fist up. Amy has got her fist up. Thank you,
How
Amy.
many? How many firsts? My
Thank
goodness.
you, Kevin. Kevin's got his fist up too.
We still doing first.
It's
It's
okay.
amazing. I mean, it's
It's okay.
necessary,
But
right?
yeah, it's necessary. What we're going to talk about now is reboots. We have had some reboots. I'm definitely gonna. I have you watched the Wonder Years, the reboot with the all black family?
I have not. No, I haven't watched
Mhm.
the new Wonder Years. It looks good. I just haven't had. There was one. There was something else that I was even more interested in watching it, in that I fell down a rabbit hole and watched every episode that was available to me. Different.
Oh, okay. So
Didn't see that one.
the
They look
Wonder Years,
nice.
yeah,
Look how
yes,
nice they look.
I know. And this ironically is set
60s, right?
the 1967, 1968.
Maybe they were listening to Henry Lewis. You know,
I
the Conductor
maybe.
Symphony.
And then of course one of my favorite high school reboots have come back. Uh Saved by the Bell. You guys remember
Yes,
that?
I spent some COVID time with this reboot of Saved by the Bell. I watched a little
Yes.
bit too much of it one weekend. So yes,
Okay.
it is very funny,
And that's
very funny.
everyone, and that's as you see on the screen, that's everyone from the
They
original
all
cast.
grew up.
They all grew up. They all grown.
Yeah,
And I think
later.
Mario Lopez is aging in reverse. So I don't know what's happening. Yeah, that's another reboot. That's
He
right,
made a
Kevin.
deal, y'all. He made a deal. He'll
But the
tell us about it
reboot,
on his deathbed. He made a
yeah,
deal. I know he
but
did.
but the reboot we really want to highlight, and I'm gonna just I'm sorry, last one, Cobra Kai. That's on Netflix, and that's
Yeah,
based on the
Cobra Kai is a different one, and that is
mhm,
and here we'll make the transition here. That's less of a reboot than a reimagine. That's a
that's a
reimagine.
reimagine. Okay,
A
that's good.
reimagine, because you're
Mhm,
reimagining what it is that the whole notion of the narrative is about. So before it
mhm.
was about the Karate Kid and having to learn and becoming this kind of heroic person. Now you come into like, well, what does it mean, on the other side of that, to be kind of the anti-hero, someone who is trying their best to make things work, but it's just, I mean, he's just not a good person. I mean, he's trying.
He is
He's
trying,
trying.
but he's
But
not
I
a good
mean,
one.
he's just.
Amy's
I mean,
laughing at you.
the
Amy's
the the
laughing at you.
the advice he gives these kids is just like, oh my god, they would have. I mean, any teacher or person involved with you, he would have been fired a long time ago. You
I
can't
know.
tell
And
kids to do
Mark
that
Lee's got a question. He's like, how many reboats
reboots
rebots
are
are
there.
they? And then he was
Well,
like,
see,
is there a
okay, all right.
remake of Mayberry and the Adams Family? He wants to know if there's a remake of those two.
Well, as a remake of Scream, but we'll get to that in a second.
I
But
know. Mhm.
however, looking at this, so okay, so this isn't a reboot. This is a reimagine. We
Okay.
didn't see this story before, so this is a
All
new
right.
type of story.
But
And
the original story was the Karate Kid.
right, and we want to get to the one on the Fresh Prince, and Val, you got the info to set that up, right? On
Oh, of
on
course, because
what it is.
I
Yeah, tell us.
because I said that now I'll admit this. I was kind of against when I heard about they were going to reimagine or reboot the Fresh Prince, because what happened during COVID is that the entire cast, sans unfortunately in the picture we see, Philip Banks, the actor's name. Why is his name escaping me right now? James Avery. Unfortunately
Avery,
passed
good.
away.
Yeah.
So everyone got back together. You see, the original Liv is there. Aunt Viv is there. Janet Hubert.
First Aunt Viv before she got her hair done.
Exactly.
One
So
season she come back a different person. Like, what happened? Oh, I got my hair. Oh, yeah, okay. You look different.
my hair.
You look
Exactly.
different.
You look different. So there was talk about this remake in 2019, as early as 2019, because there was a filmmaker. His name was Morgan Cooper, and he came up with a reimagined dramatic version of The Fresh Prince, but dropping the first part of it, and just calling it Bel-Air. And Will, Will got a YouTube channel like we got a YouTube channel, and he decides to interview Morgan Cooper because Morgan's movie Bel-Air got well over 7 million views online, and
I
so
watched
Will
it.
was. Yeah, and I watched it as well, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow. And the actors, they weren't well known, so I was like, oh, okay, but they did a great job. It was weird hearing them say Will and Aunt Liv and Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil, and it just sounded weird because I'm just like, I'm used to seeing James Avery, I'm used to seeing Janet Hubert, I'm used to seeing Ashley, I'm used to seeing other people.
Well, Val, the voice, it was weird for you. Imagine how it was for Will Smith.
Probably
Will
was
Smith
very
is watching
weird.
another young person called Will Smith.
Exactly.
Playing a role that he played that was based on partly on his life. So he's watching it like, so that's Will Smith? Wait, I'm Will Smith.
Exactly. And the great thing is that they decided to go ahead and shop the show for a couple of networks. They shopped it to HBO Max because the reunion of HBO, the reunion of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the original cast, was on HBO Max. So naturally they were thinking, we can reboot there,
because the original show is a Warner Brothers show.
Warner Brothers show.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is Warner Brothers.
It's Warner Brothers.
Saw it on NBC because NBC purchased it from Warner Brothers. Same
Right.
way that the Friends episodes are all HBO Max.
All HBO Max as well.
That was a Warner Brothers production.
Right. And then also they shopped it to Amazon, but who picked it up and just in time for NBC Universal to create their own streaming situation? Peacock. So now Peacock picked up Bel-Air, and it is now, is it 6 or 7 episodes? How many episodes is it, Michael?
Well, it's 3 that you can watch right now, like I did yesterday. Like, oh, that's good. Oh, another one and another one, just like DJ Khaled. So the 3 that are available,
well,
I watched.
I was, once I saw.
It was on Thursdays, I believe, which of course is a nod right to the old show, right?
To the old show, right. And it's, so Morgan Cooper reimagined this, and he is the showrunner for this cast. Okay. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just show you. It is, I watched the first episode this morning when you said Val. Okay. I watched it this morning. You were like, Val,
I watched that one and the 2 following episodes. Okay. So Val, what did you think?
Mind is blown. What I'm
how
going
did
to say.
How did you keep yourself from watching the other 2? What happened?
I do not have Peacock Premium. So the very first episode, if you have Peacock and you haven't, paid for the premium, you can at least see the first episode. So this is the type of show where if I wanted to go premium, I would go premium for this show so I could see the rest of the episodes. And I have to say the actors, I have to say Adrian Holmes as Philip Banks, he's got some edge. Nothing like James Avery. Edge. I mean, there's similarities, but then there's edge. I mean, Cassandra.
Please let me mention this for our viewers, listeners, those. Uncle Phil is clearly identified with one of the Divine Nine. In an episode, he then shows out his roots in the Divine Nine.
Exactly, and I'm assuming that's an alpha.
And guess which That would be correct.
Okay, he's an alpha. That's cute.
Not only that, but they go all out. They give you a step show in one of the
Yeah.
episodes.
Which
So
one of the
uh,
episodes? So let's correct it. Let's make sure we let Kevin know. Kevin wants to know, where can you watch the movie? That's on YouTube.
is it still?
Is it still on YouTube, or was it yanked off?
Yeah, I
I
was.
remember seeing a clip of it, and I remember
Mm,
seeing part of the movie, but I think it's been taken off
I
of
would doubt if it's
YouTube.
still there. I mean, you could check.
Yeah,
It
you
might
can
be,
check.
but
It might be, but I would. Yeah, but
right now they are
Kevin,
acting out this thing by episode by episode. So I don't know if they've kept it up there.
yeah, and Kevin says that he definitely Fresh Prince was one of his favorite shows, I guess, growing up of all time. And he hasn't seen the remake, but he definitely wants to see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go ahead and recommend you guys check it out. Now let me let you in. This is not for children. This is not a comedy. This is a drama. So when Will was interviewing
Language.
Morgan, when Will was interviewing Morgan, he was like, "There's things that we presented, in the original show, but there's things that you guys with the dramatic element can just really go all the way.
Will Smith doesn't swear, but this kid does. As paraphrasing Eminem. So
Jabari
if
Vance.
that bothers you, then you should know going in that
Possibly not watch this.
this is
Yeah.
keeping real to the streets of West Philadelphia, actually coming to Bel-Air. And
And I have
those two young actors, my
yeah,
goodness.
they really
Wow.
good some great tension between them. Like I felt I don't know if there was some tension that was played. Alfonso Roberto did play a little bit off of Will in the beginning, where it was like, I don't really want you here. And I'm thinking about the very first season,
Oh,
and I'm
sure,
like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Right.
So I'm like, oh yeah, there was a little bit of a tension thing, and then of course as they grew together, it turned more into a brother instead of a first cousin. Why you here relationship turned into a brother relationship. But it's gonna be good.
Here, yeah, not giving
But the
too much
setup.
away, but in the
Hmm.
first episode that you saw, they got to that place that took
Hmm.
several seasons to get to the very
Yeah.
famous scene of Will
Hmm.
Smith and James Avery finally with him breaking down to his uncle saying like, why doesn't he love me? That whole, I think most people remember that where Will
Oh, when
is
Ben
lamenting
Vereen
the
been like
loss, the absence of his
the
father,
father, yeah.
and turning to his uncle, who has we've seen acted as his father for all of these years.
Mhm,
So we
mhm.
get that early on here that this boy is really in need of somebody. Someone
To help
right,
him out, yeah.
exactly, and he sees in Uncle Phil black excellence.
Yeah.
And I think there's some things that, for comedy's sake, weren't
Mhm,
really played up. I mean, the idea that, oh, they're rich, that was certainly played for laughs, but the struggle to get there, the fact that this man is a district attorney in Los Angeles,
mhm.
the drive, the campaigning, what did that mean? What would that have meant at that time in history? Um,
Yeah.
I think that in that way, I feel I really appreciate this show at this time. Some people, talk about a different NBC show, which we won't mention, that was certainly had an African American family and had a very strong cultural presence, as being one of the reasons that you could see black excellence, step into the White House. I mean, I think we probably don't give a lot of thought about Bel-Air, about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You had this family living in Beverly Hills. You have this incredibly strong, maternal figure. You have this father who is an uncle who is taken in, a member of his family who needed him at that time.
Mhm.
And a lot of that is played up here in a really unique way that just kind of reminds you of what was discounted for laughs, I guess.
Right,
But
right.
the actual narrative of this story is very strong and very family oriented.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what direction it goes into. As of right now, I think it has 7 episodes in the can, so I think they're going to be releasing
Seen about half of them
a
now.
new,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I got
they're
to see the
releasing
two.
them
I guess
every
that
Thursday.
were so from where you saw the story continues. You see more of that tension between Will and
And
Carlton.
Carlton
Of course, there's a
and a
girl
couple of,
involved.
right, and ironically, the names you're going to recognize. I heard Lisa is introduced very early, and I remember Lisa is someone that Will dated in, I want to say, the 4th season of Fresh
Do you
Prince. It
remember who
wasn't.
played Lisa?
That was Nina Long. Nina Long
That's
played Lisa.
right.
Right, that's right. And Trey, his friend from Philly, if you remember the original first season, very young and unknown Don Cheadle played Trey in the first season of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So Trey is introduced early and is kind of his boy, and that bond is there. I like Jazz. Jazz gives him a nice
Jazz.
warning. And then Jazzy Jeff is actually,
Yeah.
yeah, the best friends of
Wasn't
Will.
exactly thrown out, but he
Nothing
was
thrown
still
out.
asked to leave.
Oh,
So they did
oh,
establish that early that Jazz is not
oh,
welcome at the place, and he will. You still have some nods to the original show. So just for hip hop heads, there's a cameo that you see in that first episode. It starts out authentic. It's Philadelphia. It's
mhm.
Philly hip hop. And so even though it's coming out of Will Smith's production company, they're smart enough to know not to be playing Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. They come out with Freeway, buddy.
Yeah,
They
I
come out
heard
with
that.
like real Philly hip hop. And we had
Mhm.
our coach on earlier, and in the show, there's a coach that is coaching the team with that Will Smith is playing on. And if you don't know, you don't know, but that is actually the rapper Freeway from The Rock. So they use his
Wow.
song as the introduction to begin the whole episode, and it just kind of builds, and then you actually see him you know, kind of slide across the camera. It's like, that's Freeway. I know what Freeway looks like. He still got the Freeway beard and everything. It's like, that's him. Okay, all right. So we doing this, huh? This is
Yeah, and I love the, like I said, that I'm snooty. I don't necessarily, I'm not a big fan of the hip hop that comes out now, but the music used in
even
this
though what we do is wrong,
it
wrong,
helps the
wrong,
storyline flow
wrong.
very well. Helps the, and here we go. This is a good request. If you guys, please place your favorite episode of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and place it in the chat. I see Kevin said James told Will in that scene that's acting, when that was the father part, when he was telling him, like, I'm gonna get me a girl, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go and do that, and then he'd go, how come he don't want me, man? And I was like, Will, how come your dad don't want you? And
Yeah,
I was all sad. I believe that is one of my, in fact, I have that on DVD, and I can put my hands on that episode right now because I love that episode. Then my other
right.
favorite episode of Fresh Prince is um which one is it? Oh, it's when he gets shot and Carlton decides he wants to do something with the gun, and he had to talk him off the ledge, like,
We see elements of that in this version
exactly.
of the
Yes, we
story
do.
too. We do see some elements of that. So this is
Mhm.
I mean, I think this appeals to, people who are watching other shows like Euphoria. They can easily watch this version of Bel Air and not be disappointed. Talking about teenagers, and then people like you and me, Val. I think we
Huh?
could watch this because in my mind, I was thinking about some of the things that you know when we talk about television. This to me, this version of Bel Air is pretty much, I think, what would have happened if they had gone to Debbie Allen and said, "Great job with a different world. Now do the Fresh Prince."
The same way.
Right.
And let's talk about some serious issues.
Mm-hmm. Let's address some really
Yeah.
serious issues on the Fresh Prince, because we got the
Mhm.
audience, we got the setup, the storyline. We can actually tap into these things. Here, Miss Allen, do what you do best, and I think
Yeah.
this is what would have happened.
And Kevin says Will returning to Philly was his favorite episode, the one where he talks about his time in Philly during a gambling bet to beat Jazz, but he loved the whole show. Yeah,
Which is the first
there's
episode,
so
right? That was
yeah.
the first episode.
Oh, and Kevin and the other Kevin says he liked the episode with Will and Carlton tricked Jeffrey into thinking he won the lottery, and Jeffrey went berserk. I like
Now, what
they
did you think of
changed the
Jeffrey? What do you
name.
think of Jeffrey in this
Jeffrey,
this reimagined Bel-Air?
he's exciting. He's like, I'm the house manager. He's got this English accent, but he's like he's there but not there. Like
He's also more of a friend to Uncle Phil
looks like
than some type of servant. He's not
not a
really a
servant.
servant. He works there,
He works
but they
there.
have this kind of male bonding relationship where Phil kind of like plays off and asks him
Mhm.
for advice, and you see that especially in the episodes 2 and 3,
Okay.
when Phil feels like he's disconnected to the greater Black community. He's like, well, I don't know what to do, and he turns to Jeffrey. He's like, well, what do you think I should do? Turns to people around him. So there is less of a kind of snootiness or like I'm rich and you are not. That's not at all what's happening
And
here.
class. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a really good episode with Anna Marie Horsford who was on Amen, and she was the Carruthers. She was a millionaire and she wanted to date Jeffrey, and Jeffrey didn't want to date her because of the class and something that he was taught from being English, being from
right,
London.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
And
so
in this
I
version, the Jeffrey is British, but he's British by way of Jamaica.
aha aha. I
So they
like
brought
it.
the
So
islands in there. So I expect we'll see some shows where we kind of tap into those, into
yeah.
that backstory too.
So we're excited about this. I think Bel-Air. No, in fact, I know Bel-Air is streaming right now on Peacock. If you guys want to check it out, the first episode, if you do not have premium, is free. And then after that, if you have, I guess, a cable subscription to whatever dish, direct TV or whatever, you sign on and you're able to see there's 3 episodes that are up right now. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Michael, there's
Yes,
three
that's correct.
episodes that are up. We're going to talk about what is happening on tomorrow. We're going to be talking to a financial advisor. Her name is
Yes,
Rhonda Leonard Horwitz, and she's going to be
right.
giving you some tips about what to do financially, especially when you have to think about the unfortunate, which is estate planning and insurance.
And
No
she's
one
got
wants to
three
think about
names, so
those
you know
things.
she knows what she's talking about,
She knows
right?
what you're talking about. And she is a former LA prosecutor. She used to work in the courts. So she's
Ooh,
got an interesting backstory. I had her
okay.
talk about that as well. And I was
Maybe
like, why
did she work with Phil Banks?
I don't know. She might have. She might have worked
He's
with Phil
DA.
Banks.
Hey, in LA, maybe she knew Uncle Phil.
She might
You never
have.
know.
So this we have a 2-part series with talking about finances. The first part it will be Rhonda Leonard Hortwitz, and then next week we will be talking with your gal Shao, and she is going to be talking about a book that she wrote regarding teaching children about money, which is
Financial
excellent.
literacy.
Financial literacy. So I feel like I definitely want to call it a 2-parter, and I'll be talking with Michael after this, after we've shut off the cameras, about what I should be calling this. But then, Michael, what's your name? Oh, I'm sorry. Before we go,
Well,
before I give that, we have to say this. Tomorrow, Mike will be online doing hashtag Wamble Wednesdays. It's live tomorrow at 6-7 Eastern, and he will be chit-chatting. What are you going to talk about tomorrow, Mike?
we're gonna talk about some of the constants. We're gonna be talking about the W's, wealth, wellness, wine, but we're also gonna be talking about music, about the kind of forgotten artists and contributions that African Americans made to that great style of music called rock and roll. We are the
Mhm.
architects of rock and roll, as one artist used to say.
Right.
So I'm gonna
Right.
tell you where things stand now. There are a lot of
All right.
groups out there that are shredding, just like Prince does or did. So if you're interested in it, I got some links and some information for you.
All right. So you'll check out hashtag Wamble Wednesdays. It's Wamble time. So
That's
check him
right. We'll be
out.
getting ready for that podcast too.
That's right. Ready,
Drop,
ready for the podcast to
drop it
drop.
tomorrow.
And today, and we want to thank you guys. We have 134 subscribers to the YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Woo! We appreciate you. And
Man,
of course, today's episode is brought to you by the African American Historical News Journal, sponsored by nbnconnect.com. You get your 5. I got my 5. It's a great historical piece teaching children about our history. Michael, what's your name?
my name is not Val the Voice Johnson, but yours is, and this has been Interludes Extra. Talk on Tuesday with Valarie the Voice Johnson.
Thank you. On behalf of myself, Coach Tony, and Michael, have a
Go
great
Tony.
evening, Coach Tony. And we're out.
Hey.
Peace.